bad hair day. I have nothing to wear. I feel stressed. No, but welcome to Go Sis. I say it,
Hi, guys.
I say it every single year during the holidays that I'm not gonna stress.
Yeah.
And every single holiday season, it's like so hard to not stress.
No, facts. There's a lot going on. It's like there's already a lot going on
What do you
in
usually
life.
stress about during the holidays?
I stress about the fact that I'm gonna be in my feelings, and so it's guaranteed. And so it's I'm gonna be in my feelings.
It's a sure bet.
Way more than usual, and so I have to navigate all the things that are going on in my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, usually I'm just like, okay, get work done, right? Focus. But then you introduce feelings, and feelings are so unpredictable. They're so annoying, right?
So inconvenient.
It's just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I always say I'm not going to stress about money during the holidays. And I'm also not going to stress about creating Christmas magic for my family. Because sometimes I feel like I'm like single-handedly responsible for creating Christmas magic, all the things.
Yeah.
I got a Christmas tablecloth on Amazon the other day. I'm like, okay, check. You know, like now what do I need to do? Okay, the presents and the gifts and the budgets and the special
You're
stuff.
literally a master at it, though.
And the hosting and the food assignments and the...
It's a lot. It's a lot.
One would say it can get stressful. But it's so important not to stress. But it's so hard not to. And the holidays are so amazing. The holidays are so amazing. Because all the movies, and we've already watched Home Alone twice.
The movies.
The movies. Everyone gets engaged during the holidays. Like literally everyone.
Or not. Which is part of the feelings.
No,
Amen.
but how
we'll talk about that later.
No, let's talk about it now. Being single during the holidays is because it's like relationship time. It's the time when everyone's like canoodling and the hot chocolate and the I don't know if anybody
canoodling.
says canoodling anymore.
Canoodling. That's a hilarious word.
It's so not cool. It's like
canoodling, cuffing.
No, but
I don't know if that's appropriate.
Cuffing is just Lee Googled it. Cuffing is just getting in a new relationship.
Yeah, but in the world, that's like the technical definition, and then like in the world, cuffing does not mean that. But I feel like it doesn't.
It means canoodling? Anyway, so you're not going to avoid this.
Amen.
The single life during the holidays, I imagine because everyone is in a relationship, it can get tough.
Yeah, because that's where the focus is. And it can be very easy to just focus on the fact that you're not there. You're not where everyone else is. And then there's the going home. And I am really blessed because my family has never been one that has like pressured me to be in a relationship. Like, where's he at? When are you going to get married? Yeah. When are you going to have kids? Like, da-da-da. Like, I'm very grateful that I have a family who has never done that. She does it in private. She talks to God about that stuff.
Yes, I do. God is like, all right.
But enough. I know a lot of women tell me like they dread going home because they're like excited to see their family, but they dread it because they know they're going to get the questions of, who are you bringing? Why aren't you bringing anyone? I want grandkids. Where's my son-in-law? Like, you know? Yeah. And it's like, and then there's the inherent underlining of what's wrong with you, and to ourselves, what's wrong with me because I'm not there. Yeah. So that definitely contributes to the feelings, the being in your feelings, because you're like,
yeah, that can be in the stress. There's just a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to consider. I think not just the relationship status, but just your life status.
Yeah.
You know, as you approach New Year's, it's so common. I saw this post the other day I wanted to show you, but it's so common to, evaluate, do the self-inventory and evaluate where you are and the fact that you're not where you want to be.
Right.
In certain areas. Oh, shoot, I didn't do this. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not here. I don't have that. You know what I mean? It's just so easy to get in that trap of discontentment.
And then you go home and you feel like you have to prove that you're good enough, or prove that you're around all your coworkers, you're around all your family, you're around people you grew up with, and you're like, no, I'm killing it at life, actually.
Or you don't go home and you just are in your heart, in your head,
right.
feeling that.
Feeling like that. You feel like you got a stunt on Instagram. It's just like, no.
Yeah, and that's where things like seasonal depression and things, it's so real.
Yeah,
so
it for real is.
Yeah, I saw this post that I wanted to show you, and I'll post it on the Go Sis Instagram, but it...
shout out, follow the Go Sis Instagram.
If you're not already...
shameless plug.
I put Go Sis is on TikTok. I feel like we're getting some love on TikTok.
Okay, TikTok.
It's like I'm not. I mean, my husband's on TikTok.
Yeah.
Josiah loves Kristen, and so I've been on TikTok for a minute because he's a kind of.
He's pretty major on TikTok.
Kind of, and so I'm always in the videos, but I've never actually had TikTok. I've never had the app until we launched Go Sis, and then I'm like, ooh. Get on TikTok. But anyway, so the life evaluation, when you take something, I saw this post, you guys, and it was, I'll start like in the middle of the post and I'll post the whole thing on Go Sis, but at age 30, Harrison Ford was a carpenter. At age 30, Martha Stewart was a stockbroker. At age 37, Ang Lee was a stay-at-home dad working odd jobs. Julia Child released her first cookbook at age 39 and got her own cooking show at age 51. Vera Wang failed to make the Olympic figure skating team, didn't get the editor-in-chief position at Vogue, and designed her first dress at 40. Vera Wang designed her first dress at 40?
And she's legendary.
I was like what? Hold on. What are some other cool ones? Hold on, because I'm kind of like geeking out on this. Stan Lee didn't release his first big comic book till he was 40. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his first major movie role until he was 40. Morgan Freeman landed his first major role when he was 52. Catherine Bigelow got famous after The Hurt Locker when she was 57.
That is crazy.
And there's more.
That's why we feel like Morgan Freeman has been like old forever. Because he was older when he started.
No, but like, it's so cool.
No, that's inspiring because like, I know for me, I am 42.
The 40s are awesome, except for the that I've talked about before.
I know, like your body.
You have to like work harder at like staying healthy and staying limber.
No, facts.
But that's okay.
Yeah. But I feel like
eat your veggies.
You got to pay more attention to it.
Yes. Anyway.
I used to be able to eat whatever I wanted or work out.
Yeah.
And I could be good. But like now I have to eat healthy and work out to be okay. Yeah, I have to do both. But anyway, like I feel like I'm coming in so much more into my own at 40. But then sometimes the pressure can be like, yeah, but is it too late? Yeah. And I know a lot of people feel like that.
Yeah.
So I love that list because there's still time to be legendary.
And everyone's starting to love that.
There's still time to be legendary.
Everybody's story is different.
Yeah.
And I always say this, but it is until it isn't. It is until it isn't. I was single until I wasn't. I was doing this until I wasn't. Like the different, and we just have to really just embrace it and realize that God has you exactly where He wants you. He's not shocked. He's not surprised. Like, oh yeah, I forgot you're 42.
Dang it! Like, oh man,
said God never.
Right. I love that.
And so I love that too because it just reminds you to be a little nicer to yourself.
Yeah. No, be graceful.
Yeah.
Be graceful.
Strong in the grace, guys. Yeah. So I was in the news for a really long time, and I remember when I was working for Fox, I got Christmas off every 4 years, and so I'm very grateful that I'm not working for corporate America anymore. It was great, but I was like, now I get Christmas every year.
Yay!
But I remember in the news every single year around this time, we do stories about stress. We do stories about how women stress so much more than men, how stress around the holidays lead to serious illnesses. They lead to seasonal depression, like I mentioned, and all these really serious things that stress is such a big deal that we can't take lightly. We have to like go after this just like we go after anything else.
Yeah. Jinx.
Your fitness. Jinx, that reminds me of when we were kids. Hold on, really quick left turn. You know when we used to do like the slug bug thing?
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you. So the kids have been doing it lately.
Yeah.
And they do slug bugs with like the Xbox cars. And they're like, slug bug. And I'm like, that is not a slug bug.
What?
But I guess there's not slug bugs anymore. Anyway, I don't know why I felt like that was important, but I wanted to tell you that.
That is so funny.
But anyway, okay.
Generations.
So holidays we comfort, eat because we're stressed. All the things stem from stress. So I wanted to read it. One of my favorite passages that gets my mind right during this time in Luke 10.
Okay.
So you want to do the honors or should I?
Yeah.
Luke 10,
Sure.
38 through 42.
All right. Luke 10, 38 through 42, it says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to come help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. That always hits.
I know.
It's always convicting because I'm the person that's like, God, don't you care?
Yeah.
That no one's helping me? Like, what the heck?
I feel like Martha gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, it's Jesus at the house. It's Jesus.
No,
like,
facts.
why are you running around like a maniac?
No.
And then I'm totally Martha.
Well,
Jesus Christ himself is there, and I'm like spinning the trays.
Well, because you want everything to be perfect.
It's her house.
And it's Jesus.
She's hosting.
Yeah.
The stakes are high.
Period. Like, it's Christmas. Of course I want everyone to be perfect. Of course, everyone's coming over to my house. I'm trying to make everything perfect.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is pressure, but it's understandable.
Yeah, no, Martha is so relatable.
Yeah.
And the part where you highlighted that Martha's response, do you even care? And I love that's in this scripture because that is where we can go in our heart when things aren't going how we want them to. And she could have said any number of things in this place, like I'm overwhelmed, I'm this, I'm that. She did throw Mary under the bus for sure. She definitely threw her sister under the bus for sure, which was needed, but then she said, do you even care? And that's how we can feel like in the depth of our soul when things aren't going how we wanted to, or we don't understand God's plan. We tackle his love for us. We question his love for us.
Yep.
Do you even care?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And we can does my sister care? And then she blames it on God right away. He's like, and you're paying attention to her because she's sitting at your feet, but I'm over here slaving away for you. Like, look at all this stuff I'm doing for you. And you're looking at her, like you're talking to her. Yeah. Don't you see what I'm doing? She
didn't even understand that perhaps maybe he had a different plan or priority in the moment. Like, that wasn't even an option.
Right.
Like, Martha's like, this is the only thing that matters. This is the issue. My world's falling apart. Like, didn't even understand for 1 second that maybe Jesus had another plan.
Right.
Maybe, just maybe, his timing was different than hers.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you going to say?
No, I was like, I think that also sometimes things are good enough. At the end of the day, I know when sometimes I come over to your house and you're like, sorry, the dishes aren't done. And I'm like, I don't care if the dishes are done or not. I'm happy that I get to hang out with my sister.
Yeah.
I don't care if the kids have an art project going on the table and it's a mess. Like, I'm glad they're doing art, because art's beautiful and it makes them happy. Like, I don't care about that. And I think that's what Jesus is trying to tell her, like, okay, your house is fine. I care about the fact that you need to be focused on me right now.
Yeah.
And
that's something that I can totally struggle with, perfectionism. And that is so me. I keep going until I can't go anymore. Like, I will keep making it perfect even when it's already perfect. No, it can be more perfect. Like, and so being strong in the grace and these things are so important. And I love to have Jesus' response. He says, Mary has chosen to do what is better. And what was Mary doing? She was just sitting at his feet. Sitting at the feet of Jesus.
Man.
When is the last time you have sat at the foot of Jesus?
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think, for me, I get stressed when people come over all the time. I'm
Really?
like, yeah, we host Bible talk at like a weekly faith discussion at my house.
Yeah.
And I'm like running around I'm like, okay. And it's not my strength as far as making everything pretty. And, that's not on my strengths list at all. So I always get really stressed that it won't be good enough.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to go pray because I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
No, totally. Or I'm also an introvert. So I'm like, all these people are in my house. Oh my gosh. I need to go pray, So.
No one would guess that you were an introvert. It's so funny.
I know. Or you, like everyone thinks we're these raging extroverts and it's like, actually, no.
Well, it comes down to where you fill up. I have to go my fill up in solitude. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning, filling myself up so I could pour out.
Yeah.
It takes
You're so good at that, getting up so early.
I have 2 kids. That's the only reason why.
Right.
It's a wrap. If I don't get up before, it is a wrap. It is like you're on the struggle bus all day long. If I do not get up before the kids, like it's not even an option.
Oh wow.
But God's timing.
Yeah.
And I want to rant about God's timing actually, I don't even want to rant about God's timing. I want you to rant about God's timing because
You're so funny.
Because it is the holiday season and I can't talk about I mean, maybe I can, but people look at me and they're like, what do you know? You're married with kids when it comes to feeling lonely during the holidays or, just feeling discontent in that way where everybody's relationship status and them getting together and starting dating and starting getting engaged is like right in your face. And it's, yes, you're happy for people. Yes, this isn't saying that you're, jealous all the time. But I mean, even me witnessing it and me wanting that for people who I love in my life, who want to find someone and have companionship in that way, it is one of the biggest sources of angst, stress, and discontentment during the holidays. And I think we need to give some advice to the women out there who are struggling, feeling discontent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what it is, like you mentioned, God's timing. And our last episode or one of our previous episodes was about gratitude. And it sounds really cliche. So I just want to validate the fact that it is okay that it's hard. That it is okay that you're feeling a lot. That it is okay that you're like, God, what the heck is going on? Like that is okay. And God can handle your feelings. He cares about them. Right.
Yeah.
But then we go back to this and it's like, Jesus said to Martha, you're worried about many things.
Many things.
And we can tend to be worried about many things that are not going the way that we want them to go.
Yeah.
And it's totally understandable. And one of the things that I think people talk about specifically in singleness, but they pass by, well, just trust God. Yeah. Just pray about it. And so I want to stop and say, no, your feelings are valid. And I get why it's hard because it's hard for me a lot. It is hard sometimes. And you just got to go through those feelings. You got to go through that season. The Lee told me the other day, the only way out is through, And I was like, get out of my life.
Bringing that fire.
No. She's so wise, but it's true.
There are no shortcuts. And I feel that way about grief as well.
Yep.
The only way through is through. What was it?
The only way out is through.
You
can't skip the feelings. You can't skip the season. You can't skip where you are right now.
There's no shortcuts.
And a lot of times you're like, get me out of here. And it's like, but it's because you're worried about many things and only one thing is needed. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can feel like we need that relationship. We can feel like we need that career. We can feel like we need that person that we lost, that family, that ideal situation, that perfection. We can feel like we need a lot of things, right? And it's like, that is valid. But at the end of the day, the more you sit at the feet of Jesus, the more that is all that matters. And I think that's important for us to remember during this time.
I've read the book of John a ton of times.
Yeah.
And I do intend to study it out like 2 or 3 times every year because John was written so that we would come to believe in Jesus. And this time though, Shan, and I told you this the other day, but I feel like I'm falling in love with Jesus all over again.
Aww,
it's just if you read the book of John, and honestly, all the Gospels are the eyewitness accounts. And so what we're seeing here in Luke, and, there are Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, you can read the same stories in a lot of the Gospels, but, paying attention to Jesus, pay attention to him. Like, how did he respond? How did he say? Insert yourself into the stories. Like, I'm this woman.
Yeah.
This is how Jesus is responding to me, and allow yourself to fall in love with him. Because a lot of times we're like, God, it's very easy to be in awe of God.
Yeah.
Right? Very easy.
Yeah.
He created things. It's like, whoa, God, you're amazing. You're awesome. You're awe-inspiring. I'm blown away by you.
Yeah.
But we can't really relate to God in that way. Like,
right.
I can't relate to creating the bigness of the world.
Listen, we're proud of ourselves for this podcast.
I'm very proud.
Which, I mean, amen. We're happy y'all are here.
Very proud of this podcast. But I am not.
But the world?
Carving out the boundaries of the ocean?
Like.
And why, when the water comes up, it just goes back? It doesn't keep going?
Or gravity, chemistry, all the things.
But Jesus, and you look at Jesus and his relationships, in his emotions, in his suffering, and I can relate to that.
Yeah.
We Absolutely. Can relate. So it's so important to, yes, God, but Jesus is God.
Yeah.
But also is his own person, kind of like water and ice.
Yeah.
Yep. But getting to know the relatability of Jesus, getting to know him, it will help you just being in your word.
Yeah.
It will just help you sit at his feet. Because someone who doesn't really know Jesus like that, it may be hard. Like, what do you mean sit at his feet?
Yeah.
How do I sit at his feet?
Yeah.
Where do I sit?
Yeah. Not where do I sit?
Where are his feet?
But yes.
Where do I find his feet? Great. But
no, I love that so much. And somebody told me one time that Matthew, Mark, and Luke are more about what Jesus did, but the Gospel of John is more about who Jesus was. And so I love that, because when you're trying to fall in love with someone, knowing what they did is important, because that can tell you a little bit about who they are,
right.
But you want to know who they are. You want to know their heart.
Like, you can look at your resume or my resume,
and
be like, wow,
right?
She's this, wow.
Yeah,
but
that is not. It's not the same.
It's not the essence of who I am,
right? And so that's why it's so important to go after falling in love with who Jesus actually is at the core of his being. And then it's like any relationship, it's when you're in love with someone, you don't have to have all these, glamorous dates and all of this stuff. Like, you just want to hang out. Yeah. It's like, wherever you're going, I'm going.
To this day, my favorite date with my husband was before we were married, we got one sandwich, split the sandwich, and went to a park. There was another couple over there, and we were over here, and we were just splitting a sandwich and talking.
Yeah.
To this day, that was my favorite date.
Oh, I love that. Is so
nothing.
That is so cute. Total side note, but it's about being single. It's like there was a list that came out a little while ago on social media, and it was restaurants or things that are inappropriate for a first date, or things that single women will not go on a date to. Yeah. And some of these were like really cool things, like Applebee's, or like good restaurants, but they're like, that's not good enough for a first date. That's not good enough for it. And that's the problem, is that a lot of times we're going to people and going on outings or whatever to see what we can get out of it. But when you just want to get to know the person, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that should be a parallel with Jesus too, is we just want to get to know who he is. Yeah. Like, just spend time and chill.
So yes, this holiday season, we're going to be tempted to worry about many things.
Many things.
Many things. And it's inevitable. The temptation will come.
Yeah.
But if you just fall in love with your scriptures, God will always provide a way out in every temptation. So yes, temptation is going to come, and we're going to have all the things and hosting and the food assignment list. I'm still like low key, like, let me just dig up last year's. But only one thing is needed.
Yeah.
To sit at Jesus' feet. So I want to give you a go moment suggestion. There's a prayer acronym that helps me sit at Jesus' feet. And it's ACTS. ACTS, like the book of Acts.
I love that.
ACTS.
Yeah.
And I like to go outside, because the Bible, God says in nature, God is obvious. So you go outside and you start praying. You start praying. And A is adoration. Why you adore or awe, why you're in awe of God. C is confession, just taking self-inventory. Where have I fallen short? Like, where have I missed the mark? Why do I need Jesus? T is thanksgiving. Thank you for Thanksgivings can go a long time though, but it's good for your heart. But you got to stop at some point. But and then S is supplication. Ask for him to supply your needs, and then you pray about all the things in your life. And so I love a good plan.
Yep.
That's how I love a good plan. And that ACTS, ACTS, really helps me get really focused when I'm worried about many things on God, spiritually minded, and then I feel like I can really sit at Jesus's feet.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love the ACTS prayer. And you love your prayer walks.
I do.
And you love being outside in the sunshine. For me, one thing that is much easier and it keeps me focused because my mind will go everywhere, and I'll start praying, and I'll be like, dear God, I pray for Kristen. And I was like, she looked cute the other day. I wonder where she got that dress. Da, 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 da. And then 20 minutes later, I was like, dang. God, wasn't I praying? I'm so sorry.
Just whatever you do, don't call me, because we've tried that before. And then 2 hours later, we're like, dang it, I'm sorry, God.
Oh, man. But one thing that helps me do that less is typing out my prayers. So for me, it's going and getting water and, either coffee or a chai tea latte, which is my total go-to. And I'll sit at my computer and I'll just light a candle and write out my prayers. And so whatever works for you, but get that ACTS prayer in and literally just spend that time with God.
Yay, I love it. I love it. Well, guys, we're in it with you. We're in it to win it together.
Yes, we are.
So we so appreciate the sisterhood that we have here. We just are so thankful. And obviously this is a time where we get to just meditate on gratitude. And I have such a full heart that we're building something so special and so real here. So thank you all for subscribing on YouTube, following us. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we appreciate you so much. Follow the Instagram and the TikTok and all the things, the Facebook. I'm kind of annoyed with Facebook right now, but that's okay. I just feel like since last time I was on, there's so many options. It's like there's so much going on.
Yeah.
I digress.
They're trying to make it like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know, but we're on there. Yeah. I love you, Facebook.
I know, right? But literally tell us how you guys feel. Like, tell us how you can relate. Tell us what you're stressed about and how this ACTS prayer is going for you. We'd love to hear from you.
We'll totally address stuff on the show.
Yeah.
I am starving, if I must be completely honest.
I'm hungry too.
You are? Okay. Well, on that note, we love you guys. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all the things. And we'll see you soon. See you next episode.
Bye.
Go sis, go. Go sis. Go sis, go. Go sis. Go sis, go.